All right, good morning. Let's get started here. We have some action. Fingers crossed we keep it up here into December. So let's take a look at the runners. BLUWW, that looks like warrants. Let's see, BLUW. Okay. Acquisition company. Warrants are popping right now. Not interested in that, but that's nice to see. AHMA. All right, so this one just started ripping. So started running at right around 8:30. We got some news on it. Let's see what we got here. Let's take a look at the details. Actually, there's no news. I don't see the news. Okay, it's an interesting chart though. We have a fresh chart. Yeah, this only goes back to 1021. So not a ton of volume on it. And so it's super interesting. Now these can run a lot, and they can also collapse pretty easily too. So we're gonna keep an eye on it, but we are gonna try this. We have looks like around 4 million float. So this is United Arab Emirates travel services industry. Event planning, blah, blah, blah. This is probably just a pump. Probably just a pump. No obvious dilution, anything like that. So let's check on the recent filings. Ooh, look at that pop right there. Nice. Any recent filings to speak of here? Let's see. Nothing recent. Just the initial prospectus, it looks like, from 1021. That's pretty much it. Now it's popping. There's probably a reason it's running. Now we could dig into this and probably get an idea of what's going to happen, because a lot of times you have this lockup period where these initial investors have to hang out before they can sell, and then we get the pop. Probably gets sold into. So let me pull up. Dang it. SEC filings really quick. I'll put it like this. All right. So we want to see AHMA. So we have that initial prospectus, the day it started trading. So this is like an IPO. And we have a 6K. So we need to dig into this 424B4 to see what's going to happen. Possibly something here in the 6K too. Let's see what we have here. And this is a lot of stuff to look into right now. But we've closed the initial IPO, the initial public offering. 1.7 million shares, Class A. Let's just see if there's anything interesting here. So let's see. Amended, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to cheat here. Well, we got some warrants. Okay, 17,000, not a lot of them. Exercise price of 480. So we have 480. That's an interesting price level. 480. Now we want to see a lot of shares there. We only have 17,000. Class A, 121% of the IPO price, of the offering price. Period of 5 years, expire in 2030. Okay, so you think they're going to dump those? Probably. They may have already dumped them back here. I don't know if there's a lockup period on this. So we're going to cheat here and use AI. Why not? Okay, we'll see what we get out of that. I might give it this 424B4 as well. I don't have time to look into it too closely. That's usually how things go, though. You have the thing starts ripping. You have about 20 minutes to look into stuff. So this is just the initial IPO, which could have the lockup period stuff. I'm guessing that today is special, so something's going to happen. There's no news on this, but they are pumping. So 1.5 million. I'm not going to read all this right here. So not too bad on that 6K. 1% dilution. Now let me see if I can figure out what we got going on here real quick. $4 exercise, offering price. Okay, so all right, so 1.5 million Class A shares, or 1.725, if the underwriters exercise their option to purchase an additional shares within 45 days. Fine, that's not that much more. Whatever. Now we have 9 million issued and outstanding. All right, number of Class A issued and outstanding, that's before the offering, number of Class A issued and outstanding immediately after the offering. So again, 10. So we went from 9 to 10. And they can purchase some more within 45 days. Class B, 18 million. Okay. So this is again, before the offering, we have 18 million. After, 18 million. Okay. So we're not adding Class B. Overall allotment. Lockup period. Here we go. So this is interesting. All of our directors, officers, and our principal shareholders, 5% or more of shareholders, have agreed within a representative, okay, blah, 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 not to sell for a period of 6 months from the effectiveness of the registration statement. 6 months. Not to offer, sell, okay. Subject to limited exceptions. So 6 months, got a ways to go on that. Maybe 4 months to go on that, but then there are exceptions. See sections titled Shares Eligible for Future Sale and Underwriting for information. So they have to tell you what they're going to do, and most people just don't read the filings because it's a pain. So let's see if we can find anything interesting in it. And this is a problem too. It takes time to dig into. All right, so let's look for shares eligible for future sale and underwriting. All right, let's see here. So we'll go to this section right here. Let's dump this one into AI here, see what we get. I'll try to read it too quickly. Okay. Freely transferable by persons other than our affiliates without restriction or further registration of Securities Act. So many snaky things they can do here. We do have a 6-month lockup period. So on the surface, it looks pretty good. It looks like there's a big lockup, but I just can't imagine. There's no way they can't sell here. There's always some nonsense. All right, let me look up underwriter. That was the other thing. course, that's going to be difficult. There's a dilution section. Good morning, good morning. Doing some research into the stock here, AHMA. We're trying it. I'm trying to find dig up the dilution details here. Not easy to find. So it looks like there's a decent lockup period, 6 months. We'll see. I mean, they're always doing some snaky stuff with this, trying to figure out how to pump and dump it, but I don't see anything obvious. Average average price paid for insiders is 23 cents a share. So never forget that. If they can sell, they're going to sell, and they're going to make a lot when they eventually do sell. Now, there's a 6-month lockup period, but there could be rules around that. That adjust when they can sell. Or they could amend it. They could also drop a filing at any time that says, actually, now we can just amend this and say we can sell. So anything can happen. We've seen some crazy nonsense before. So, let's see here. Basically, this has been at right around $4 a share, but it's worth 31 cents a share on the books. So I don't know. Somehow they're going to sell this. I don't see any obvious red flags other than that's what usually happens. But we'll see what happens with it. Let me see. There's one more thing I want to look up. Underwriter here. Underwriters. This is the exciting part of trading. Okay. let's see here. Let me go back to the dilution risk right here. Here we go. Here's their average share price. Existing shareholders, they've got 94% of the shares. There's 28 million of them at 23 cents a share. So if you're sitting on these shares from 23 cents, you want to dump them so bad. Investor offering $4. Not many though. So we'll see what we get on this. This could squeeze. It could drop really hard. We'll see what happens with it. We are trying it, and we have QTBB as well. So AHMA and QTTB. QTTB. I mean, they're in the Cayman Islands. I don't know. This is all sketchy, shady stuff. So odds are they're going to find a way to sell here. Look, and it says there's no statutory enforcement in the Cayman Islands of judgments obtained in the United States. So I don't know. They could just make this look as good as possible and then dump anyways, and there's no enforcement. So something like that could happen. Who knows? See what AI says on that. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I know they're going to dump, most likely. All right, let's take a look at QTTB real quick. Looking all right so far. Huge breakout level here at $4. You know, beaten down chart as usual. And then most obvious levels right there at $4. So typically when you get these gaps into breakout levels, that's not ideal for the long side. So we'll see if we collapse or if we squeeze. This one's a biotech. Take a look at the news. This one actually has news. Okay, so yeah, what I was thinking here with this other one with AHMA is possible they could just not follow any of these rules and they could dump their offshore Hong Kong, Cayman Islands nonsense company. So look at this. This is funny. I asked Grok here. Bottom line. So this is the snake move. The textbook offshore FU structure that's been used in hundreds of Chinese, Middle Eastern, and other microcap NASDAQ IPOs over the past 10 to 15 years raised 5 to 15 million from U.S. investors, put all money and assets in a jurisdiction that laughs at the U.S. courts, UAE, Cayman Islands, BVI, etc., which is exactly what we're doing here with this stock. If it goes up, insiders dump on the way up or after lockup. If it goes to zero or there's fraud, shareholders sue, win $100 million judgment, collect exactly zero. Enforcement is zero. You cannot enforce this. Why do we allow these people to trade on the market? Who knows? But we do like them. It's not illegal. They disclosed it clearly. So there you go. They have to tell you what they're going to do. They have to tell you. But it's deliberately designed so that U.S. investors have no realistic remedy if the company or insiders steal or mismanage the money. Standard red flag, Cayman, UAE structure, high risk of permanent capital loss with no legal comeback. Okay, there you go. We're shorting it, so we love that. So that's what I was saying with that one. They're going to find a way to dump it, even if the paperwork looks good. All right, let's look at QTTB. It's almost open here. Anyways, their big news is they might get a deal for up to 590 million. Okay, so they're maybe going to have a deal, and it's up on that news. Typical dilutive therapeutic type company with no product. But lots of promises of maybe having a product. All right. Now we wait. We'll see if we get some nice moves. I like to see the action. The markets. Mondays have been kind of hot the past couple of weeks. I mean, not super hot, but it's been super slow. But we have seen some action on Mondays. It looks like we're getting more than typical, so we might be heating up in the market here. Might be seeing some bigger small cap moves. So we'll see what we get here. We got AHMA. What's it going to do? It could still squeeze too. You know, it's always possible it squeezes, but SMX has been a really nice looking leader for small caps. Ripping over here on the 26th. About 400%. Gapped up overnight. Held its gains all day. Now maybe it's having a first red day. So this is what we need to see in small cap. We want to see big runners, multi-day runners. This can really wake up the small cap market. And it's never just always going to be hot. You know, you're going to have hot periods, slow periods. And a lot of people cannot sit through those slow periods and they end up over trading, getting into stuff they shouldn't be in. bleeding out slowly. Not what we want to see. Okay, so what do we got? AHMA looks like it's having a great start to the day. Hopefully, no dip and rip for us. QTTB squeezing out of the gate. These are our two trades right now, so really need this one to just find a top somewhere and chill out and fade all day. Yeah, we got some room on it. Prove me wrong. So yeah, these are gonna have to chop around, hopefully not squeeze too much. Typical kind of action. It's Monday too. Everybody's jumpy. Everybody's eager to get into something. And we got some runners now, so everyone's excited. SMX looking like a nice first red day. Typically, with these kind of breakout charts like QTTB, you get that gap over the breakout level. It's typically not good for the longs. It's up on air. Now, it could squeeze, of course, but, it could always squeeze. Anything could squeeze. But my favorite breakouts are when they come up gradually and then kind of push through with big volume. Not just a big, huge gap over. So we'll see what we get. So far, we got a classic pre-market high fake out on QTTB. We'll see if it can keep going from there or not. That is a pretty typical top point. So it looks like we're going to attack Venezuela. That's going to be interesting. Trump says the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela is closed in its entirety. So that's interesting. We might just have to have Venezuela. To all airline pilots, drug dealers, and human traffickers, please consider the airspace above and surrounding Venezuela to be closed in its entirety. Thank you for your attention to this matter. All right, QTTB, classic pre-market high fake out so far. Now we'll see if it holds a dip and continues or not. 941. This is where things could get crazy, so it's pushing nice volume, that's for sure. Good dip hold right there. AHMA looking good. Little chop out at the open, and now it looks like it's in fade mode. Fingers crossed. QTTB still squeezing. This one's coming for me. We'll see if it can do it. They all look scary, yeah. Well, this is why we have max losses too, so protects us from disaster if it goes wrong. And it keeps us from getting chopped out if we're still right. Uh-oh, here we go. 580s. Looks like I might get me on this one. Looks like it's gonna continue. Maybe not, maybe. We'll see. Fighting at 75, 570s. It tried to push through 6, but it kind of stuffed. Still hanging out though. .560s testing. Still holding 570s. Back to 580. .570s. Okay, 560s again. See if it holds a dip here or not. Not looking good for me. Looks like it wants to go higher, but I never know. .570 still holding. It is probably about topped out, but it could always go another leg up. .560s being tested. .550s testing. So we'll see if it holds a dip somewhere. Typically it would be right around here if it wants to keep going. AHMA is squeezing as well. All right, 570s trying to reclaim here. Bouncing off of that moving average so far perfectly. Get 590s going now. Looks like it's going to crack 6. That might be it. Morning, Scotty. We're getting squeezed on QTTB. This might be the top, though. Fingers crossed. I like that little clear out move right through 6, but it's gotta. That needs to be the top for me, I think. I got AHMA as well, which is halted up at the moment. Okay. AHMA unhalted. See if that keeps going up or not. QTTB looks like it's probably topped out. Oh, somehow I stopped out of this. I'm not sure how that happened. That sucks. Oh well. Technical difficulties. This might just squeeze anyways. Might be for the best. Yeah, we'll see if that's the top on that one. Looks like it could be. QTTB. The HMA is halted up again. All right, let's see what we do. That's a nice clear out, potential top out. Of course, could do anything still, but looks okay. Yeah, the thing is too with this is if something just wants to run all day, there's no winning on it for me. So as long as it's not that scenario, we should be okay. Alrighty then. Well, we had a little hiccup with AAGMA. Kind of worked out in my favor though. QTBB looks like it is working. So we need to give that time to play out. Gonna call it there. I'll post some updates in the Discord later. See how this plays out. Hopefully it comes down. I really need this to be the high day. So we'll see what happens. But all right, guys, good luck. We'll be back at it tomorrow.